Thank you, Shylin. I appreciate it. Um, I am the operations manager for the Friends of Gold Butte, and we're a small 501c3 nonprofit that is based in Mesquite, Nevada. And our mission is to promote the responsible enjoyment of Gold Butte National Monument through education, stewardship, advocacy, and preservation of natural and cultural resources. And we have been in existence for about, coming on like 18 years. It was begun in 2003. Mesquite resident Nancy Hall organized a group of people that were concerned about the area itself and all of the cultural and historical treasures within the area, and sought to preserve it. Nancy was the founder and the first executive director of the organization, and she was followed by Jane Amon in 2015, I believe. And both of these women were instrumental in getting the monument designation, but they didn't do it alone. Thousands of supporters and hundreds of volunteers throughout Southern Nevada and the surrounding area contributed time, money, and energy to ensure that the area would be protected for future generations. Currently, Friends of Gold Butte is run by a volunteer board of directors and one paid staff person that clearly cannot speak. That would be me, and I clearly have issues speaking. So we operate a visitor center in Mesquite, and we do stewardship projects, we lead hikes, we do restoration, and a lot of other activities outside, and try to get people out into the monument and teach them what is there and how to enjoy responsibly. As you can see, the Gold Butte National Monument is located between the Grand Canyon Parashant National Monument to the east and Lake Mead National Recreation Area to the west. It's over 300, or excuse me, just under 300,000 acres of diverse desert and mountain landscape with over 300 miles of designated trails and roads. The climate varies from desert floor, which gets very, very hot in the summer, to a little more mountainous regions up in the northern part of the monument, which are considerably cooler than the desert and the surrounding cities and that, like Mesquite. The climate is harsh and the terrain is rugged, and roads, when they exist, are often pitted. The road, Gold Butte Road, that leads down into the monument is a little rough for a paved road. It's full of potholes, and we do our best to keep it in shape, but it is an adventure to travel that road. The rest of the roads are dirt, and of course the trails are dirt as well. And so a proper vehicle would be something at least high clearance or probably four-wheel drive to explore most of the monument. The monument was designated by presidential proclamation in 2016 on December 28th. And it is managed by the BLM, the Las Vegas office of the BLM. Oftentimes people think that Gold Butte is in Arizona, and they, for some reason, think that it should be, they ask the BLM in Arizona questions about it, but they turn them on to us. It is out of the Las Vegas office, and they've managed it before designation as well as they can currently continue. The monument is managed under the Southern Nevada management plan, and they are beginning to write Gold Butte's own management plan now that we have a new administration and the threat of reduction is somewhat reduced. This beautiful area is home to endangered and protected animal species, as well as a cultural repository for the Southern Paiute people. There are historical remnants of an old town, as well as an old dam built in the 30s by the Civilian Conservation Corps. And up until the early 90s, several ranchers used this land, and there's still remnants of that, as such as corrals and fencing and water improvements. Currently in the monument, ranching is not allowed, although it does continue. This is just an example of some of the incredible diversity in the landscape. On the left side of the screen, you see Little Finland, and this photo actually was taken from the air, as was the view of Devil's Throat, the large sinkhole that's nearby Little Finland, actually. And I was fortunate enough about a year ago to go up in a small plane, and I was just awestruck at the way this thing looked from the air. So I had to include these photos in this slideshow, just because I think they're neat. And Gold Butte is a just a wealth of rock art or rock stories. There are several sites that are just completely covered with petroglyphs and pictographs as well. Some of the more famous ones, such as 21 Goats and Falling Man, are really easy to get to and thus see a lot of visitors each year. We try to keep our hikes and that to a minimum, such as like 10 people, so we don't do undue damage to the areas. And we also try to encourage people to practice leave no trace principles, because these areas are sacred to the Paiute people, and they are a wonderful glimpse into history that once they're gone, they're gone. And we believe that most people will do the right thing if they know what that is. So when you advise them not to touch the petroglyphs, they're a little bit shocked at first, but generally people will respect your wishes if you tell them what, how the correct way to preserve these things are. As far as animals in the monument, you will see everything from coyotes, feral burros, rabbits, jackrabbits, cottontails, many, many different kinds of lizards and insects, many different bird species. And we're lucky as an organization that is not only an expert in birds and their habits, but also is just really, really knowledgeable and has given us many resources as far as educating people about these animals. This next slide is a picture of a Mojave Desert tortoise, which Gold Butte is critical habitat for this animal, and they are protected by law. This particular tortoise was one that we found on a trash cleanup one day last spring, and we were lucky enough to find this and take a picture of it, and everybody oohed and awed and was happy that they went on that trash pickup. And the Gila monster below was actually seen at the Whitney Pocket campsite, and that Gila monster came sauntering through the campsite after we had done a trash pickup. We were sitting around eating lunch and could not believe that a Gila monster came right through the campsite. And I had never seen one in the wild. I've seen one other one, and that was at one of our speaker series. One of the speakers brought one, but to have this one, and it just was like on a mission. It just traipsed right through. And so the moral of that story is join us for a trash pickup. You might see a Gila monster or a tortoise. So there's always the possibility. This photo shows some more of the diversity of the landscape. On the left side of the screen are the sand dunes that are right before you get to Little Finland. And in the back is the incredible sandstone and limestone hills. And some of the plants, you see the creosote in the front. I just thought that was a really pretty photo. And our hikes, we take people to these places and let them look around, and they just marvel at the beauty and the diversity of these places. We also do driving tours sometimes for those that can't get out and hike. And of course, we're limited a little bit more because if we don't want to, traipse right back into the wilderness, they can see quite a bit from the road. But the photos and that people are able to take out there are just amazing. We also do some stewardship, such as trash cleanups. We do one every month when the weather will allow. And by that, I mean, we don't do them in the summer because it's just too darn hot for people to be out there safely. We do a trash cleanup every month. Our group, in the time that I've been with Friends of Gold Butte, we have cleared well over 5,000 pounds of trash off the landscape. And sometimes we go out and, you know, it's kind of a contest to see who can get the most, and it's, since we weigh it as a unit of measurement to see how much we got, we're looking for heavy stuff. And so if we go out and just find a bunch of aluminum cans, it's not as good a day as if we find a part of a tractor or something like that, since weight is our measure. But we do a lot of cleanup there. And we've noticed over the past year or so that actually the campsites and some of the other highly used areas are not as dirty as they used to be. And people are kind of behaving themselves and bringing out what they take in. So we're happy to see that. And generally our group is met with pleasant responses when people drive by and we're cleaning up trash. They thank us often for the effort in keeping the place clean. The bottom picture there was the people cleaning the graffiti off of what is known as white rock. That was a big job, and that thing was covered with paint. It had spray paint on it that was probably 30 years old. And it seems like every graduating class of Moapa or Virgin Valley High School seemed to make their mark on that rock. But they, as you can see, they got it pretty cleaned off and it looks a lot better. On our trash cleanups again, this is an example of some of the stuff. And who would think that you would find an old muffler out there? I mean, if you've lost your muffler, you're in bad shape anyway, and then it's shot full of holes too. So one of the things that we find a lot of are shotgun shells, of course. And besides the more common things, we've found some interesting pieces of trash over time that are, again, kind of a contest, who can find the weirdest thing. And the muffler that time was one of the weird ones. Another thing has been a toilet seat. We found a credit card with, or a debit card with money still left on it. And so you never know what you can find. This one I had to put in as one of our major projects. I see we have Jim Boone in the audience, and Jim is in a couple of these pictures, I'm sure. Hi, Jim. Because this was a major deal. In 2019, Friends of Gold Butte, some folks from Basin and Range, and the Clark County Public Works that operate out of Moapa Valley, and also the BLM crew. We put down road patch, it's cold patch asphalt, and over a 9-day period, we put down 200 tons of this. And if you can see in the upper right-hand corner, that little lady there, that's Eliane, and she's a worker. You know, she's in her 70s, and she came out every single day for those 9 days. And it was just an amazing experience to have all these people working together over that period of time. Everybody was cheerful. We got all of that done, and nobody was really overworked or anything like that. It was just a really good crew and one of our most successful projects. And although from what you can see there, it doesn't look like it might have been much fun, Jim had fun. I'm sure he did. Right, Jim? Yes. Okay. So it was fun. And we, you know, had lunch every day and donuts and just got to be friends. And it was a really good project to do. Another thing that we end up doing a lot of is graffiti cleanup. This particular project on the right-hand side, the 3 right-hand pictures, was at the little room that's walled in, or was walled in at one time, over by the Civilian Conservation Corps Dam at Whitney Pocket. And someone came in there and managed to mess it up with spray paint. But really that one was a pretty good deal. It got cleaned up in about, it took us a couple of hours to do it. The lady on the left doing the rock there, that one was a little tougher. And that's just something, graffiti is something, I guess people feel compelled to compete with the petroglyphs or something. They have to leave their mark somehow. But it's one of the more troublesome activities that people do out there in the monument. We do a lot of graffiti cleanup, and it's important to do it right so you don't damage the rock surfaces underneath or the petroglyphs if there are some. But you know, that's how you get it gone, is clean it up immediately so people don't feel compelled to continue to do it. We do a lot of other things rather than just stewardship and that. We do some social things so people can get together and have some fun out there. This was a cowboy poetry gathering type thing, not a gathering of many cowboy poets, but a gathering of people to listen to one particular cowboy poet. And we did a Dutch oven cookout, and it's fun stuff that we do out there, and everybody enjoys it. Just a good way to build camaraderie within your volunteer cadre, and to encourage people to relax and have a good time out there. All of these folks that you see in these pictures are not just people that came for the party. They're people that are volunteers on a regular basis, and they all are, you know, super valuable to Friends of Gold Butte. They've contributed time, money, and a whole lot of energy and good ideas to keep the organization rolling and to keep the monument clean and usable. Another activity that we do occasionally is encourage young people to come out in the monument. This was a tour, actually not a tour, but an organized group through the Hispanic Access Foundation that came out. There was a bus, and these kids came out and spent a day. We had a scavenger hunt for them. They brought lunch, and they did a hike around Whitney Pocket and had a really good time. The ones in the upper right-hand corner, that little boy he was funny. They're sitting on the dam at Whitney Pocket, and it's quite high off the ground. I want to say about 20 feet. And he was the little smiling guy in the front. He was pushing other kids around and kind of, you know, making himself a nuisance. And then he looked down and decided that he was way high and was going to behave himself after that. It scared him to death. So it's a good way to get kids out there. And, you know, what better way to teach them how to take care of a place than to show them what is there that's valuable. They really got a lot out of that trip, and we hope to do more of that as soon as the COVID restrictions are lifted, because the volunteers and the kids all had a lot of fun. Another kid-friendly thing that we do is we host an art contest, a poster contest for children from Mesquite, the Moapa Valley, and Beaver Dam. I'm losing the name. Beaver Dam, Arizona. That's just right across the border from Mesquite. And we were fortunate to get a grant from the Nevada Humanities to put on this last contest. And these are some of the winning posters. We have judges from the Art Guild here in Mesquite, and they went through, the first year we did this, we had about 40 entries. The second year we had, I think, almost 200. And then last year we didn't because of COVID, because the school was let out and we just, you know, things didn't come together. But this year we hope to have another contest and see a big increase in entries as well. And we give a little money for first prize and second prize, and then some goodies for third, and some honorable mentions. But I was really excited to see that many kids. And I have to point out, my personal favorite in this group of pictures is the cinnamon roll shaped snake in the middle there. That one was just one I liked. You know, they said coiled rattlesnake, and he coiled one that'll roll. These are some of the kids getting their awards. We traveled around to the different schools. We do have at our speaker series in December, we had the kids that wanted to come and get their awards in front of the group, but not very many of them showed up, so we went to their schools and presented their awards. And another youth-friendly thing was sometimes when we table at different activities and that, we have a special deal for people that, you know, they want to participate and they want to learn about the monument, but there's not much for kids to do generally. But this particular one was up in St. George, and 2 of my volunteers went with me, and we had the kids paint their own pictographs. And it was messy to a point, but they had a ball, and it's far safer than turning them loose with something to chisel a petroglyph with. So the ladies got those chunks of sandstone at a local nursery, and we broke them up even smaller so they could take them home with them, and they had a great time. said, our monthly speaker series takes place by Zoom now. We normally conduct it at the Mesquite Community Theater, but they've been closed down since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And we have a speaker each month come and talk about a different topic of interest regarding the monument, such as geology, native species, biology, stewardship, different things that we do. And we do these via Zoom. And the way we work it is we have folks sign up on meetup.com. And once you sign up or register for the speaker series on Meetup, then you get a link to the presentation. And it's been pretty successful. Most of these folks that present are far better than I am with technology. So they've done a remarkable job. And the good thing about the advent of COVID that we can see is that it allows a lot of people to enjoy our speaker series events without having to drive to Mesquite. So we hope to continue that even at the point where the theater opens again. That's one of our fundraisers, is that people come to the speaker series and they'll donate or buy a map or a t-shirt or something like that. So we've missed out on that, but the fact that we've kept it going through Zoom has been a good thing. And this is our annual celebration. We celebrate the designation of the monument each December. And we had a silent auction for the first time as a fundraiser, which was well attended. And we put it together in about 2 weeks' time and really did well. That was in 2019. In 2020, we went to an online auction and did even better. So it's something, we're adapting, we're trying to learn, we're trying to keep up with the times and do things that people can still be involved in, even though they don't have the ability to meet in person at this time. So just as a recap of all the things that there are to do and see in Gold Butte National Monument, this is just a little collage of activities. That middle photo on the top is a seed collection, native seed collection project that we did with the, I want to say it was BLM, but I think I want to say the plant side of it. And I'm sorry, I'm losing my memory here. But that was a fun project that folks went out, and those particular plants that we were doing that day, I think it was globe mallow because of the nets and the bats. And we go out and kind of smack the bushes and let the seeds fall into the nets. And we gathered, I think our minimum in any one place where we had to have 40,000 seeds. And that really isn't that hard to do because they're so tiny. And so we did very well with that and got lots of different native species, which they used to experiment on, number one, and also to reforest places that have been burned by fire. And they want plants that are local, so they'll grow in the same places that, that they were intended, that they're hardy in those places. Let's see, on the left there, that's me at St. George at the farmer's market tabling. Down below that is a lookout on one of the northern areas of Gold Butte National Monument. Next to that, in the middle there, is our cowboy poet, and then our famous "We Love Gold Butte" sign to show that, and that one was taken up at the sand dunes where people are going to go to Little Finland and the sand dunes. So we get quite a few little groups like that out there and try to make a picture every time we do it, just so people can have a memory and we can document these things for others that would like to learn. So this will finish it up, but I just wanted to thank all of my volunteers, Jim, and anyone else that's in our group that comes out. And I'd like to invite all of you to join the Friends of Gold Butte and to come out and just experience the monument in all its beauty. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I know for those of you that live in Las Vegas, it might seem like it's a bit far, but what else do you need to do? It's fun. I apologize, dogs, sorry.
Is that your dog?
Oh yeah, that's 3 of them. Sorry,
Oh, no
apologize.
problem.
And anyway, I'd like to invite all of you to come out. Again, we sign everybody up, register through Meetup. We have a website, friendsofgoldbutte.org, and we have a Facebook page. It's just Gold Butte on Facebook. And if you want to know about any of our activities, we do about 3 or 4 hikes a month, a trash cleanup, another, any stewardship activities we can come up with. And again, when COVID is settled down, or we get back to what is going to be our new normal, we'll be back to doing the things with the BLM that we've been not unable to do for about a year now. And so it's a great group of people. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful place, and I invite you all to join us. Thank you.
So yeah, I'm gonna open it up for questions. You should be able to unmute yourself if you have a question. I also will scan for questions in the comments. Does anyone
Yeah,
have?
I have a question.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, where is your office in Mesquite located, and what are its hours during the week?
Our office is located at 12 West Mesquite Boulevard, Unit 106, in Mesquite. It's our office hours traditionally, and I'll just be honest with you, traditionally are Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Because of COVID and because we're volunteer staffed for the most part, those hours have been sporadic lately. My suggestion would be to call and make an arrangement to have somebody meet you down there if you'd like a map or would just like to look at the visitor center, see some of the things we have on display. Another thing you can also do is we have partnered with the city of Mesquite at the new Mesquite Welcome Center. It's not new, it's just reopened. And the city is now running it instead of the Convention and Visitors Authority. And we're there 1 day a week, and you can also ask questions. We're going to have volunteers there that are able to ask questions or answer questions for you. Did that answer what you wanted, or?
Sure, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. From the comments, Joan Fuller, Friends of Gold Butte, how does Las Vegas individual resident connect with others to I'm not quite understanding your question. You are able to unmute yourself if you'd like to.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What I mean is, I live in Las Vegas. How would I connect with others to enjoy your hospitality, your ability to bring us into that setting? You said you do hike, and because I don't have the vehicle to handle those roads.
Okay, good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Normally, we do offer carpooling for our hikes. So if you can get to Mesquite or to the junction of Gold Butte Road and Highway 170, which is where we start most of our hikes, if you can get there, then we have folks that are willing to take other people in their vehicles, and we just ask that you share, gas money with them if you're able. Currently, though, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we are not carpooling. Hey, quit. Sorry. We're not carpooling currently, but perhaps you can, if you want to do something, and give me a call. And I know people that come from Vegas and may not mind bringing an extra. And I think things are going to calm down again where we can offer carpooling, but that's basically how we've been doing it. We actually, for a long time, had a meeting spot in Las Vegas where folks could congregate there and then carpool out to Mesquite, because it is 75 miles from Vegas.
Yeah, good question. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, are there any like to camp or maybe even like backpack out in Gold Butte, is there like a permitting system or is it more like a,
No, it's dispersed camping is allowable in the monument, and there are no permits required for individuals or small groups, to use the monument.
Cool.
It is also a primitive monument, so I'm going to expand on that a little bit and let you know that there are no improvements out there.
Yeah.
There are no bathrooms, no cell phone service in most of it, no stores, no nothing. So you've got to like the desert, and you've got to like it raw and beautiful, because
Yeah.
that's what you're going to get.
so to go off of that, are there any like natural springs or water sources out there? And if so, what
There
are the
are
resources?
there
to-
there are a few natural springs. Whether they're fit for human consumption or not is not for me to say. So it's recommended that you bring plenty of your own water,
Okay,
and all of the things that you would normally need to survive in the desert, because truthfully, it's a big place. It's 300,000 acres, and so if you were to break down or get lost or whatever, it could be a while before somebody finds you.
sure. And are there any good resources or map sets for the springs that you know? of?
The springs aren't specifically listed on the map that we sell. I mean, some of them maybe, but I don't. I can tell you where some of them are, but there are a couple that are listed on the map, but there are numerous little tiny water sources that are very seasonal.
Yeah.
So, it would be one of those things, you need to, if you're planning on going there and you want a spring to make sure you have drinking water, that's not a wise thing to do. It would be better to take your own water.
Sure.
That was what
Okay.
you meant by that.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
No, yeah, thank you. That's good.
The map that you showed earlier, is there a more detailed map than that one that you have that's available for purchase, or?
Yes, we have a map that's available for purchase. That's a fairly detailed map. There are some things on that map that we don't advertise or show, but the main sites that people visit are there, and there's a lot of roads that are indicated on there. I would suggest, if you want a bit of more detail, that you check out Jim Boone's website, which is birdandhike.com, because he has a really good drop-down list of places. And unfortunately, you have to print those out before you go, because your internet won't work out there. But if you have a place in mind, he can certainly get you there.
Well, that's why I'm interested in a map that you might have available, because I don't have a way to print anything like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. We
So-
can either, if you wanted to do the visitor center, either the Mesquite Welcome Center or our visitor center, we can get you a map.
So you have
Or I'm happy
agreement,
to mail you one. I can mail you one.
Okay, I'll be in touch. I would love to have
Yeah,
that.
they're $10 and they come there. It's a nice map. It's on good paper that's tear and moisture proof or resistant.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that either, and I'm pretty hard on
Yeah.
stuff. So that would be perfect for me. Thank
Okay, that'll work. Yeah.
you. I'll be in touch.
All
Great.
right. So yeah, and that was friendsofgoldbutte.org, birdandhike.com. I shared that in the chat for you guys.
Thank you, Shannon.
No worries.
Yes,
I'm gonna go ahead and head
download the
to
waypoints.
Facebook and scan to see if we have any questions there. I know we had additional questions. All right, Bo Paisley, keep up the great work. We are Colorado residents, but support your work.
Thank you.
Joan, I had another question in the comment about your phone number. So if you could, Brenda, shout out that phone number again for everybody.
702-613-5875.
Another question was about how is the basic lodging in Mesquite? And
Oh, Mesquite has everything from little motels to big resorts. Yep, it's like a mini Las Vegas, but nicer. Sorry,
no worries.
not as crowded. We'll put it that way.
All right, and then
Oh,
you
Jim,
can
yeah.
read the chat. Jim had a comment for the gentleman Rue, I believe, about the springs. You can contact him directly through his website, birdhike.com, for specific on springs. Yeah, I know for sure, even when you have a map, it's definitely unreliable if it's going to be there. A lot of times they say the spring's going to be there, and it's just simply not there. So
Right.
he'll enlighten you. All right, looks like we're clear on Facebook. Do we have any questions for everyone who's live on Zoom right now? Because if not, I'll definitely let you guys go for the evening.
I've got a question. This is Mark Vollmer. I'm from Sparks, Nevada. Is the Gold Butte map and other Gold Butte related literature available for purchase from the Gold Butte website?
Not currently. We're working on that.
Okay,
But if you just shoot me a message on Meetup or through Facebook or, whatever, through info@friendsofgoldbutte.org, I'm happy to send you whatever.
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Anything else?
All right, awesome. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Shar.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up and being so engaged on our call. We'll be back next month. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.